Hello everyone, I'm Mansi Bhardwaj from Believers IS, and today we are going to do current affair of 10th March. This editorial was in the Hindu, and it was basically on semiconductors. Why it is an important topic? Because semiconductor industry is booming, and we have to catch up, like the India have to catch up with the global standards. So that's why today we will learn semiconductors, or answering any kind of semiconductor question from the mains perspective of view. So basically, whenever any mains question comes from the semiconductor, we have to think from a very broad perspective. How? So let's say semiconductors. First we have to think it from the science and tech. How science and tech and semiconductor, how they are related. If our semiconductors or if our electronics are good, then we could run heavy machine learning models on those semiconductors, which could help us building generative AI. So we could say कि generative AI, it would be helpful in generative AI. It is from the data analysis, data storage, which lead to privacy, that is data privacy. So this is from the science and tech perspective of view. We are saying ki why semiconductors and electronics are important. The video which I am making and the phone in which you are seeing, it is all semiconductors. Next, we will think it from the economics perspective of view. Now in this article, it has been mostly based on economics perspective of view. Recently, Tata Electronics and Power Chip Conductor, they have opened an industry in Assam for chip fabrication. That is Make in India, to achieve Atmanirbharta. Now, in this entire introduction, we can see there is this data which could be important, which you could cite in mains. That from financial year 16 to financial year 24, there has been increase of 2000% in integrated circuits, that is increase of 2000%, which shows that now we have to focus on Atmanirbharta, because the thing is the imports are surging. It means the demand is increasing in India. India has the population of 1.4 billion people, so definitely we need electronics. Our digital divide is decreasing, so we need phone, we need laptop, and we all need digital things which need semiconductors. Now the thing is, semiconductor is not made by a sole country. It is not made by USA, China. It's a very long chain. Let's say long chain means some country is famous for its research, some country is famous for its design, some country is famous for its fabrication, and some country is famous for its final manufacturing. Let's say in manufacturing and fabrication, there is this company TSMC, that is in Taiwan. Research is famous in USA. Let's say NVIDIA. The NVIDIA, you might have heard about NVIDIA GPUs. So as we can see that it's a very long supply chain, and now if India wants to manufacture its own, then it has to improve its kind of all parts in supply chain. So now let's focus on some data over here. In the entire article, This exact question won't be asking in mains, but you should take some data out of this article. First data which I said you is this data. Second is this data. China remains India's largest supplier of semiconductor chips. It is also important from the prelims perspective. You can go through this article. Now the other major suppliers include Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea, Singapore and Taiwan. In the prelims, the question could be asked, which among the following countries make the semiconductor chips? So you should be knowing these are East Asian countries. These are East Asian countries. Taiwan, Singapore, South Korea, Japan, Hong Kong. Now let's see what India, the initiatives taken by India. You have to know this Morigao. In future it might be hub for semiconductor industry. And this also Dholera. In both, Tata has contributed with different companies. So this Dholera and Morigao you have to remember from the prelims perspective of view. Now there is this mission also launched by government, that is Semiconductor India program. It was some kind of budget allocated to semiconductor industry. Here we will see these are some problems stated in semiconductor. We will discuss here, but let's see the charts first. Here we can see that this much budget is allocated in 2024 and 25, but only this much is kind of revised, and let's see this 2023, this much said we will give it to semiconductor, but only let's say 1/4 has been used in the, which shows that that government is allocating it, but it has not been properly used or completely used. So we might not achieve our full potential. Now the thing is, when the mains question comes, we have to approach with the, let's say we have to write an introduction, and then any semiconductor question we have to deal with the different perspective. As I said, first let's say IR, then in economics you could say if India focus on semiconductor, it could decrease our current account deficit. Make in India, small manufacturers, India could be a manufacturing hub, employment will increase. You could find this data from somewhere ki, how much employment would increase if the semiconductor industry is booming in India. So it's from the IR perspective you have to see, then economics perspective. Let's see it from the trade perspective, or you could combine the trade and economics, that it is the CAD and trade, because let's say if the trade let's say if we are hub of a semiconductor industry, then we could also export our semiconductors. As you can see, now we have become hub for phone manufacturing. Next is IR. We will get geopolitical autonomy. Now most of the semiconductor products has been delivered by the China, but let's say if we are able to make our own, then we don't have to depend on China, USA, Taiwan or etc. So let's say if there is any geopolitical shock out there, it won't affect India much. Let's say in 2022 there were trade wars going on between USA and China, which affected India because it disrupted all the semiconductor industry. Now in the I do remember, let's say in science and tech, semiconductors are also used in electric vehicle. So you could also add the environment wala section, environment. So in IR, main point is that we will get a geopolitical autonomy, and we could add the other points also, let's say social and political. Let's say it could help India to manufacture something at a very low price. Let's say if NVIDIA GPU is costing India, let's say some $100, if we could make it like on our own, we could sell it in some $20. So it would be affordable, and it would be, you know, a common man can also work on their GPUs. So to India, major suppliers are China, as I said, Taiwan. There's this very famous company TSMC and PSMC. It's not important, but I'm just telling you because they have recently collaborated with India. So yeah, you can go through the conclusion and introduction. Main points is, if whenever you're approaching a mains question, look the topic from the different perspectives. Okay, let's move to the next topic. You could attempt this question. I would suggest you to do it in the different perspective, that is different dimensions. You have to think, take time and just try to solve this. And now this is Indian obesity problem. Recently, our Honorable Prime Minister said in a speech that we should consume the oil. We should not consume the oil because obesity has becoming the Indian problem, and we have to tackle it. So don't use oils, product and all, you know, for the eating. So it could, let's say, it could help in our health. If there is a low oil consumption. And also one more thing, we import our 90% of oil from the outside countries. So if there is a less oil consumption, and if we are focusing more on the health, obviously the imported oil would be less, and there would be current account deficit would be low. And obviously India could focus on different healthy things. So here the main thing is, you have to focus on data that is 44% of Indian population may be obese by 2050. Now obesity question won't be asked directly. The thing is, the question could be asked on nutrition or something related to health of Indian citizen, where the obesity could be mentioned as obesity is also a disease. So we could write this data point. So I would suggest to write this data point, because 44% of obesity by 2050. Now we will see how it is compared with the different countries. It has mentioned some different age group that we don't have to remember. It is just for the comparison. It is just for the different age groups the article has told. And now the article told some reasons. It is shift to calorie dense processed food, high sugar, salt and fats. Let's say today I eat a burger at McDonald's. So that is a calorie dense. It's a sugar, it's salt, it's fats. Now second thing is urbanization and economic growth increasing access to unhealthy food. And let's say most of the bachelors, they want to eat outside. The children want to eat outside. They don't prefer eating at home. So it's just not key they don't like mom's food. It just they think that the outside food is tasty. So people are having money, they could spend, so they are spending on the food, and food is kind of a big chunk where the people spend their money. So obviously it will lead to a lot of calories intake and all the processed foods. And there's one more point, reduce physical activities due to modern lifestyle changes. How many of the people do physical exercises? Let's say these days we don't see children playing in the street. They might be eating some burgers inside, they might be playing some video games and all, but the physical activity has been drastically reduced. So what could be the reasons for the obesity is that our eating habits, like the eating lifestyle has been changed, which is shifted to calorie dense processed foods, and this urbanization, individualism, all is creating unhealthy food habits. And other is the reduced physical activities. Now the thing is, let's say Lay's. Let's take a Lay's example. India has a very large market size. There are around 1.4 billion people. As there is a huge population chunk, so there must be many large chunk of people who could eat Lay's. So the big MNC targets the countries with the middle level income, which could spend their money and on their products, and which they could buy, but they are generally not good for health. Now the thing is, sometimes it comes in the news that let's say there is this USA and India, and Lay's, let's say some XYZ product which has been sold in USA and India, it has more health checks and it is more healthy vis-a-vis India. It is spotted in some orange drink that the same company sell in USA like in a very healthy manner, but in India it does not care, it adds some chemicals and all, because we have a big population who could drink, and they could spend money in that drink. And this also our FSSAI, there are some sets and some standards which decide ki this is a healthy product or not, and it is not uniform throughout all the products, so which is also a big problem in India. So all the standardization of the food health should be done. And now here in the graph, as you can see that in USA it is said that it will increase, and India see the level, the percentage increase. In China, obviously there are people who are obese, okay, but in India, as we can see that the people, this is the woman graph and this is men graph, and obviously people are going to get increased. So by 2050, so there was this data, 2050 or 44% of population would get obese. So yeah, after reading this article you could just go for a run. So yeah, after this article there's this little prelims news in today's. You could go through the entire article, but the main news in this article is this chemical, strontium bismuth fluoride. Whenever you see a bank note, sometimes we see in the sunlight, okay, it's a real note or not. As we can see Gandhiji's photo in the note in the blank area. Let's say if this is a bank note, this it is written, and here Gandhiji's photo is there, and usually we cannot see like this, we have to see it in some light, so that then we can see the photo. So it could be done with the help of infrared rays, because if we see in the presence of a light and of a sun, then obviously infrared rays falls on that paper, and then we can see the photo. So here RBI recently, with the help of BARC and INCT Mohali, made notes with the new chemical compound, that is strontium bismuth fluoride, which can be glow under both ultraviolet and near infrared. Why this step has been taken? Obviously they have to decrease the counterfeit currencies and pump good currencies, because let's say there could be fake currency outside, and how could we recognize, okay, this note is real or fake? So that's why they introduced this ink, and only this chemical is important. If the chemical could be or could not be asked in the prelims directly, it was used in some note printing, or it's a food chemical, or it's a pesticide, etc. So you have to write that it's a bank printing ink, sorry, note printing ink. Okay. And other important thing was, it could be tracked in UV plus infrared, either UV or infrared. Earlier we could see the notes only in infrared rays. So yeah, what makes the new security ink developed by INCT Mohali, BRC Mumbai unique compared to existing fluorescent inks? That is, it is the first ink to include fluorescence under UV light. If fluoresces under both ultraviolet and near infrared light, it does not require any special light to be visible. It is only visible under ultraviolet. So we know that this chemical could be tracked from both ultraviolet and near infrared light. So yeah, that is today's current affair. Thank you.